gentlemen, welcome to the world-famous Houston Zoo. My name is Todd Stiles. I'm your tour conductor this morning. The next 25 minutes or so, I'll be showing you the zoo from aardvark to zebra. Please hold on to your tickets. When we get to the end of the trail, there'll be a drawing, and the lucky winner will be fed to the lions. The largest zoo in Texas has brought from all over the world performing animals, seals, bears, and a few wolves imported from Hollywood. What's going on? Bear pit. What? There's a woman in a bear pit.
Who do I see about seeing somebody that's in here?
You see me.
I'd like to talk to the girl that was in the bear pit this morning.
Are you a relative?
No.
What do you want to talk to her about?
You're one of the fellows who got her away from that bear, ain't you?
Yeah.
I saw you there.
I guess you feel you kind of got a vested interest.
Well, I got her shoes anyway.
Okay, sign the register, your name and address. She's in the room in there. You can go in.
Thanks. What's her name?
Cardenas, Maria Cardenas.
Thanks. We didn't get a chance to introduce ourselves this morning. I'm Todd Stiles. Well, I wanted to return your shoes. They just don't happen to be the bear's size.
Thank you.
Well, don't you care about your life? Is it so cheap you'd give it away to get your picture in the paper?
I have already thanked you once. Now, if you're trying to impress me that what you did was so extraordinary, well, I'll thank you a second time. Now are we quits?
All right, miss. The rest is just formalities. Your attorney is waiting for you at the desk.
Maria! Child, you must stop this senseless war against your parents. Your mother's had to be put to bed and sedated with barbiturates. Your father's...
My father's dead. My father's been dead 8 years.
Do you have any idea where you're going? That's what I thought. You don't know where you're going, and you don't have any pocketbook, and you don't have any money on you, and you have no transportation. I just thought somebody should point out those few items to you.
I need to see my mother.
My car's right over there. I'm just going to take her home. My name's Todd Stiles.
Thank you, Mr. Stiles.
Are you completely out of your head?
I want you to be my friend. Will you?
Is that the way you get friendship?
Mr. Todd Stiles? Our attorney called me from the police station. How are you now, Maria?
This is my mother's husband, Mr. Juan Pablo de Armando. Mr. de Armando used to be a stable boy here until my mother raised him to his present position.
We thank you for bringing our daughter to her house. Nuestra casa es su casa. If you can excuse me now, the young ladies are waiting to continue their lesson.
matters much, but the polite thing to do when somebody drives you home is to say thank you.
Please. Please be my friend. First, please let me apologize for my behavior. I've been almost hysterical, and I want you to know why. Everything I'm going to tell you now has a point, every detail. And I think you'll see how it all comes together when I'm finished. This is my room. When I was a little girl, it was my secret place. But nobody ever comes here anymore. Nobody ever plays with them anymore. Do you know what this is?
Piñata.
Christmas. The children hit the piñata with sticks, and when it bursts open, presents come tumbling from the sky. My father gave me everything. He gave me this music box. And on my 8th birthday, Elisa Maria Dolores Cardenas. My father died when I was 11. And in a single day, a great light went out. He was an extraordinary man. He was sweet and gentle and very much in love with my mother, and she with him. He died. I used to come here a great deal. My mother, concerned for me, decided that I needed to be taken out of myself. Well, my mother brought a riding master here to divert me from my grief with riding lessons. Mr. Diamondo, of course. I don't know one single thing about his past. When he came here, he had a single cardboard suitcase. Within 1 month, my mother was in love with him. Now, I understand that. I just said that when my father that I had a great light went out. Well, for her, too. She didn't want to live in darkness any more than I did. Within the year, Mr. Diamondo was my mother's husband and the master of this house. My mother was and is a very generous woman. She gave him clothes and money, and when he said he wanted to do something useful, she bought him those horses that he uses to give riding lessons to young ladies. 6 months ago, my mother went riding with her husband, and the girth on her saddle broke. She could have been killed. She hurt her hip. Even now, she has to walk with a cane. One day, when my mother was still in bed recovering, Mr. Diamondo put his arms around me and started to talk to me. I pushed him away. I was sick to my stomach. He didn't say anything. He just looked at me. My mother recovered, but she walks with a cane. Mostly she stays in the house. But once a day, she leaves the house and she walks out through the grounds to the mailbox. She collects the mail and she walks back to the house. I'll tell you why that's important in a moment. You see? I came here yesterday for the first time in a long while. No, it's not a toy. Go ahead, take it out. Now look at this chair by the window. Look at all the other chairs. They were made for little girls. This is a grown person's chair. It doesn't belong in this room. It's all wrong. You can see that. This chair was never part of this room. It was brought here by someone who found a little girl's chair too small for him because he wanted to sit by the window with a gun in his hands. Sit by the window and watch my mother go to the mailbox.
Who does this gun belong to?
Mr. Diamondo. My mother gave it to him Christmas time. He likes to hunt.
Are you telling me your stepfather's trying to kill your mother?
I am simply pointing out to you how I came to a particular conclusion.
Well, who else have you told about this? What about that attorney I saw at the jail? Can't you talk to him about it?
I can't talk to anyone that has anything to do with my stepfather. He's so charming, so persuasive.
What about the police?
Don't you understand? My mother loves this man. Doesn't she have enough pain without police wandering through the house, asking questions, exposing what she's done to herself? Look, I know I haven't acted rationally, but was I supposed to be calm? I was out of my mind. I thought if I could do something that would get my name in the papers, draw attention to myself, well, that would put such a bright, hot glare on this house, he wouldn't dare do anything.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do when the attention wears off?
I don't know. Do you think I'm right? What do you think?
Oh, it's good to see you again.
Thank you.
You have not yet met my wife. Elena, this is Mr. Stiles. How do you do?
Glad to meet you, Mr. Stiles.
I must express my regrets. I've been called on business.
Yes, sometimes willful women insist that my husband give them riding lessons in the evening. Against his will, of course.
Always against my will. If you can excuse me. Good night.
Mama? Mama, I have a sick headache and I can't join you for dinner. I'm sure Mr. Stiles will excuse me.
Afraid that you'll have to be my escort then, Mr. Stiles. You're not drinking your brandy. Would you care for some other kind of drink?
No, thank you.
This has been a very difficult evening for you, Mr. Stiles, hasn't it? This isn't a peaceful house. I'm sorry to inflict the unrest on you. Mr. Stiles, we're an old and proud family. We were in Texas when it was still called Tejas. Our men were at the mission San Antonio de Valera. They too died fighting for freedom at the Alamo with Bowie and Crockett and Travis. Without pride, we are without life. Why did my daughter try to bring shame on this house?
I'm not sure shame is the right word.
I will use any word you tell me. My daughter and I move through this house. Sometimes we move through the rooms together, sometimes we speak, but I find that there is no communication. What is it that she cannot bring herself to say? I've asked her. I've often asked her. What is it that is so vile that she cannot tell me? I ask you, if you know, please to tell me, so I may help her. Please.
Suppose someone were trying to harm you.
Harm me? In what way? Harm my spirit, or wound my pride, break my heart?
More than that.
Once the pride is broken, there is nothing but death. Is she afraid that I'm going to die? But I'm not ill. Oh, my hip pains me, but it's not going to kill me. Who does she think is trying to kill me, Mr. Stiles? There are only 3 people in this house. Myself, my daughter, my husband.
I'm sorry.
What you imply, what my daughter implies, is not true. Oh, young girls, how they adore their fathers. How impossible it is for anyone to replace their father. That's all there is to it. Mr. Stiles, that is all there is to it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm very tired. Maria!
Yes, Mama?
Were you listening, Maria?
Yes, Mama.
Maria, I mourned your father, as was proper and fitting. But I didn't die with him. And if I choose to remarry, that's my privilege. I was respectful to your father, Maria, but I'm in love with Juan del Mundo. And if you think that he married me because he wanted my property, or because I gave him a horse or a watch, then you're a fool. You don't hold a man like that. You hold a man by being a woman. And he knows that if he wanted to leave, I wouldn't hold him. He doesn't have to kill me to be free of me. I'll tell you something. You think that he wants to kill me. But I tell you that he loves me. He loves me.
We better get your doctor. What's his number?
Will you look at this cane? It was cut. This cane was cut.
What's your doctor's telephone number?
I made up my mind I was going to get some sleep tonight. I was in bed at 8:15. In surgery last night and this morning.
How is she?
Some shock. No fractures, I'm pretty sure. But we'll take some x-rays tomorrow, but I'm pretty sure. All the way down the stairs,
Yeah, all the way down.
Where's Maria?
Up in the playroom, I think.
You know her for a long time? I brought her into the world. What time did Diamundo say he was going to be back?
I talked to him about an hour ago. He said it would take him about that long.
Mrs. Diamundo is now sleeping, lightly. She'll wake up, I'm sure, in a little while. When that happens, give her one or two of these. I would like her to sleep. Thank you. Sometimes people know each other briefly, but are vitally related. You're not engaged to Maria, are you? You're not in love with her, then? Too bad. I would like to see her married and away from here.
The doctor says if your wife wakes up, and she probably will, give her these. Would you like to know how it happened?
You said she fell down the stairs.
Don't you want to know what caused her to fall down the stairs?
This is my house. I don't know you. I don't give you the right in my house to ask me questions. I almost did not come here.
Why?
Why did you fall?
To bring you back.
I think so.
I fell to bring you back.
I must say something. Now listen carefully. This house is poison to me. I'm going to leave it.
Do you think I would not let you go?
I think so.
I don't think you understand how I love you.
I understand how you love me. Let go.
I know how to let go.
Let go. The doctor wants you to sleep.
I know how to let go.
The talking is done.
I do know how to let go. One, will it hurt?
What?
One, I don't want it to be painful. Forgive me, I'm afraid. I'm afraid.
What do you think I did? Those were pills, only to sleep.
And when I fell from the horse, it was only the girth that broke. And when I fell from the steps, it was only the cane that broke.
There is no poison in those pills.
I didn't mean to hold you so. I was so proud.
There's no poison in those pills.
Aren't you convinced yet?
It's the other questions that bother me. Let's say you were going to kill somebody. Why would you do it like this?
To try and make it look like an accident.
No, even if it worked, the police would have the cane. As soon as they looked at it, they'd know it was murder. And how would you know it could work? How could you be sure the cane would break only while the person was using it on the stairs? And how would you know which step? Not the third, not the fifth, not the 10th. How could you be sure the cane would break not at the bottom of the steps, only at the top?
I see. Maybe we're dealing with an insane person. Maybe not. Well then, Maybe the cane was tampered with, not so much to kill, but to warn. To say, in effect, my patience is wearing thin. Maybe what he was trying to tell her when he cut the girth of her saddle is, I am warning you. But she did not heed. And so he took his gun and sat by the window and contemplated her death. But he couldn't bring himself to do it yet. And so he warned her again. This time, by cutting her cane and concealing it very cleverly.
I have to call the police. I know you didn't want me to do that.
Oh, no. That's the only right thing to do. There's something else I think you ought to do, though. I think you ought to go down to the stable and see if you can find that girth and if it was cut. Because if you do find it and it was cut, then that will be evidence that the police will want. But if you don't find it, well then, that's something else that will need explaining too. You see, the minute he knows that the police are coming, he'll do everything he can to conceal any evidence that might be against him.
Maria, you understand that the police are going to have to consider the possibility that it wasn't your stepfather. That it was you who did these things.
Don't you think I know the deadly peril that I'm in? Don't you think I realize I'm being enmeshed by him and that there's not one single way I can prove what the truth really is? Don't you think? It really is insane. It is so insane. I think we really have to consider the possibility that we are dealing with insanity after all.
What do you want?
I'm looking for something.
Well, go ahead and look.
I'm looking for the girth.
What girth?
The one that broke when your wife fell off the horse.
What do you want it for?
To see if it was cut.
To see if it was cut. You want to know something? My wife is a fool. And you're a bigger fool because you believe what she tells you. To see if it was cut. Take a look at the girth that was cut. It's fine leather, isn't it? Clean, beautiful leather, huh? It's a terrible thing to cut leather like that. If it was cut?
So it wasn't cut. How many people knew the leather was rotten?
Al demonio. I'm through here, I'm through in this house. I leave this house like you leave a house where people die from the plague. I don't know who you are, but I warn you, if you have feeling for the girl, fight yourself. I'm married to her mother for 8 years. And for 8 years, that girl keeps her father alive in that house. She will not forgive me for moving into the house of her father. And her mother is insane with jealousy. If I go across the room, she cries and calls out, "Where are you going?" And the more she holds me, the more she thinks she must hold me more tight because she thinks I'm trying to get away from her. And it is all in her head, insane in her head. And it is becoming true, all true. She holds my flesh, but I will tear myself away from her and leave the flesh behind. The tragedy of this woman is that she cannot trust. She thinks I came to her for her gifts and for a house and for her name and her place in the world. Look at me. I invented myself. My clothes, my manners, even my name I stole from a moving picture actor in my country, De Amundo. I was 10 years old. I said to myself, I must have that name. I took it. Everybody said to me, "What's your name?" I said, De Amundo. They said, "Just like the actor?" I said, "Just like the actor." That's all I am. I don't know my mother. I don't know my father. I don't know where I was born. I lived in the streets and I begged for food or I stole it. You know how I know horses? I followed a rich man. I couldn't take my eyes off his clothes. He went to the racetrack. I hung onto the tire behind his car. I went to the racetrack and I saw that a horse is kept warm and he has a blanket over him. And over his head, he has a roof. And I stayed at the racetrack because I wanted to live as good as a horse. That's all. My wife knows the story. So she thinks that is why I married her. I don't know what she thinks. You know the medicine you gave me from the doctor? I gave it to her tonight. You know what she thinks? She thinks I gave her poison. I don't know what to do. I'm in love with this woman. It's my wife's cane. Who cut it this way?
That's the cane she was using when she was on the stairs. It broke, she fell.
I did not do this.
There are only 3 of you here. You, your wife, and your stepdaughter.
I did not do it.
But it was done.
I have such a wildness in me tonight. I was going to ride to hope to break my neck.
Just the 3 of you in the house. You, Maria, and your wife. You say you didn't do it. That leaves Maria and your wife.
No. The girl loves her mother.
That leaves your wife.
No.
That leaves nobody.
You have to be punished for trying to kill my mother.
Maria, I have not tried to kill your mother.
Oh, yes. You're tired of her. And you think if she's gone, you'll have the house and my father's fortune.
You think I eat from your father's table. Your father's table is bare. There is no fortune. There is only the money I make from giving writing lessons. That's all your father left.
My father left Mama and me. And you used up Mama. And now you want me. That's why I have to kill you, Juan. I can't make the gun shoot. Because I love you, Juan. Don't you see? I belong in a cage. I'm an animal. An animal, an animal!
You'll be all right. We'll help you. We'll get help for you. Everything will be all right.
Put me in a cage! Put me in a cage!
Maria, it's all right. We'll get you out of the cage. We'll get you out of the cage.
Screen Gems film presentation, Herbert B. Leonard, executive producer.